Welcome to Steve's World UK. They say everywhere is somewhere. So today that somewhere is Longleat in Wiltshire. So today, Longleat'S Tales of the Garden, an event running from May until September, is part of my world. So the event is included in the ticket. As I said, it runs from the 28th of May until the 12th of September, and it's based in Longleat's sprawling lawns and ornate gardens, which are coming back to life, tangled in intricate stories, grown back up for the roots of history. So discover the specially commissioned sculptures blooming up across the dewy grounds, telling some of our favourite stories of Longleat in a brand new and unique way. It's very rare that we get a chance to stop and admire these fountains. On a day like today, you can't help but do so. Tempting. It's not going to happen. So the place to start, apparently, according to the staff, is at the entrance to the house, right next to the adorning lion statue, standing proud. Longleat's are using a variety of materials and crafting methods designed and created by UK-based artists. There are 9 installations which will capture the imaginations of all ages. According to the website, you can immerse yourselves in a unique telling the story of Longleat and its winding, mysterious history. So let's take a look. The sign says, "Welcome to the Tales of the Garden," which details the artist that's been involved. So we're just to the side of the house now, right next door to the lake, looking for our first installation. You can hear in the background the sea lions kicking off because it's feeding time. First up, it's the tale of the 2 kangaroos. It begins in 1795, when King George III and Queen Charlotte gave the first Marquis of Marchioness of Bath a breeding pair of Australian marsupials. To accommodate this unusual gift, the carpenters built a house for kangaroos near to the present-day safari park entrance. A watercolour from 1852 depicts 2 kangaroos tethered on the lawns of Longleat House. These may have been descended from the original pair, which are believed to have introduced offspring. It was this watercolour that inspired the 2 kangaroo sculptures made with natural fibres and tactile finishes to reflect the kangaroo's highly communicative and social nature. Can't go by the lake, just stopping to take a look at the safari boats that will take you to the Western Lowland gorillas, the sea lions, and actually the hippos, which, believe it or not, are actually out and about. Next up is the tale of the changing landscape. Longleat's gardens and parkland have a long and rich history since Sir John Thynne purchased the former priory of Longleat. In 15 generations of the Thynne family have adapted the landscape to meet changing uses and tastes. Often this has been with the help of leading landscape architects and garden designers. The series of sculptures are replicas of tools used within the garden landscape at Longleat over the past 5 centuries. So this is a 17th century turfing iron. On a tripod is an 18th century theodolite. I guess this could be used for marking out angles and measuring, as a guess. I could be wrong. Inside the wheelbarrow just over here we have a 19th century ranging rod. The biggest rake I've ever seen, and for a size of a garden of this nature, this 20th century landscaping rake could come in very handy. Now just opposite, if you are interested in garden and architecture, there are detailed accounts all through the centuries of all the work that has been done in the grounds, and there's certainly plenty of it. Penguins first came to Longleat in 1968 to live in an attraction called Pet's Corner. They were fed on 1.5 pounds of fish each per day. King and other breeds of penguins continued to call Pet's Corner their home until late 1980s. Occasionally the penguins were allowed out of their enclosure to waddle around the nearby gardens. A cine film shot by a visitor in 1969 shows a group here on the lawns near the boathouse. Built in around 1807, the boathouse was designed by leading Georgian architect Sir Geoffrey Wyatville. Behind the covered bridge that you can see, and it's a functional wet dock that once housed rowing and fishing boats. Penguins returned to Longleat in 2013 to mark the opening of the Penguin Island. 3 Humboldt penguins following in the forerunner's webbed footsteps by taking a walk around the lawns of Longleat House. The Humboldts moved to another animal collection in 2019. The story of the wandering penguins was the inspiration behind these sculptures. Rebecca the artist used a variety of inks and silks to bring the emperor penguins to life, and once again have penguins roaming the lawns of Longleat. So we're now standing in the secret garden where peacocks and golden pheasants once roamed free, in the tale of the troublesome peacocks and pheasants. They were introduced to the gardens by the 6th Marquis of Bath in the years after he opened Longleat House to the public in 1949. In 1962, the Daily Mirror reported that one of the golden pheasants had become the terror of Longleat. The bird named Fred had taken to chasing women wearing nylon stockings who would run around the orangery to escape. The exotic bird proved destructive in other ways. Landscape gardener Russell Page despaired at the damage that caused to the gardens. Golden pheasants roamed the grounds until the late 1980s. Peacocks remained until the mid-2000s and continued to cause chaos, gaining a reputation for damaging cars. Just at the back of the house now, just take a view of that fountain and the majestic Longleat House. Just as you approach the fountain, several placards will tell you about the history of visitors into Longleat itself. So with Tale of the Fountain, we are standing near an important fountain, parts of which are more than 300 years old. Today it sits as the centre of the Love Maze, which was added to the gardens by the 7th Marquis of Bath in the 1990s. The fountain has been a focal point in the gardens for centuries, witnessing many events in Longleat'S history. These include the day-to-day activities of the Thynne family, and in recent years, events held in a nearby orangery such as weddings, including Lord and Lady Bath's in 2013. The tale of the gardeners of Longleat tells us that the gardeners have been employed at Longleat to create and tend the flower gardens, orchards and kitchen gardens since Sir John Thynne began establishing a country estate here in the 1540s. Although the size and style and use of the gardens varied dramatically over nearly 500 years, the task needed to care for them remained largely the same. Propagating, planting, mulching, weeding, watering, mowing, pruning, harvesting and protecting plants from pests and other threats. These sculptures celebrate those past and present who have kept Longleat'S garden picture perfect. Last time I was in this garden, it was the middle of the winter and about minus 10 degrees. So this welcome sunshine is a great relief. I guess back in the day it was important to keep the image and a shirt and tie and a smart hat would have been a norm, not like today's standards. I guess it is possible that this man who's got the bowler hat could have been the man in charge. In the tale of the King George III oak, this tells the story of a tree that is known as the King George III's oak. It is said to have been planted by George III during his 3-day visit to Longleat from the 14th to the 16th of September 1789. 1 month earlier, the King had made Thomas Thynne III Viscount Weymouth, the first Marquis of Bath. This magnificent oak tree is the inspiration behind these sculptures. They depict the oak at different stages of its growth, from the acorn sprout through to a sapling and then as a young tree. So the tale of the pets and where they laid to rest. This tale focuses on nearly 80 gravestones in the pet cemetery, the earliest of which dates to the time of the 4th Marquis of Bath in 1896. The majority of pets in the cemetery were the cherished companions of families of the 5th, 6th and 7th Marquises, spanning the whole of the 20th century. Possibly the oldest 2 gravestones stand side by side at the far northwest, back left corner of the main area. They mark the resting places of a St. Bernard called Rose, belonging to the 4th Marquis, and a Chow called Jip, belonging to his wife, the 4th Marchioness. For these sculptures, the artist uses shadow play to celebrate the sheer variety of beloved pets, with the majority being famous breeds of dogs, with some cats and a few more unusual animals. Most notable are those favoured by Virginia VI, Marchioness of Bath, a budgerigar and a cob swan, as well as a homing pigeon named Homer, who strayed and stayed. So we're just in the back of the far left corner of the pet graveyard, and there, just in the corner, as stated, are the oldest gravestones for Rose, and just next door for Chip. I can see what the artist was trying to achieve by the silhouettes of these late pets, and they certainly achieved it. And finally, the tour of the Tales of Longleat bring us to the courtyard. In the final area of the courtyard, there are many stories detailing the use of the yard in its day. Detailing the stable yard, the Viscount Weymouth and his horse, the Ghost. Since Longleat House was opened to the public in 1949, the stable yard buildings have been used for a wide range of purposes, including staff accommodation, storage, offices, shops and attraction. The former coach houses have contained an amusement arcade, an historic vehicle exhibition, and a Doctor Who exhibition. Most recently, a mirror maze and bat cave. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on great future content from Stevie's World UK. Until next time, be safe, be good, be kind, and be careful.
It takes 24 hours for the world to turn once, but only 2 seconds to like or subscribe to see great future content from Stevie's World UK.